Good evening. Good evening, Facebook. Good evening, Facebook family. How is it going? Hey, Andrew. I saw your message come through before. I am jumping on a live, so here you go. I'm currently in my room, my temporary room. I have some lovely things setting the scene. Got some doTERRA goodness, got some oils. I was burning my sage before, but it has burnt out. I'm probably needing to refresh that. Ooh, Zachy boy, what is up? How's it going, bro? I am gonna wait a few little moments, see if anyone else jumps on. I am shaking right now. This is a topic that I guess I'm not terrified, I'm wanting to speak more on, but it is scary. It is scary sharing your story, like, period, you know, what's happened in your life, but it is something that I'm just getting called to do, despite things that have been said to me. You know, it's so easy, I think, to suppress our voices when we get affected by what people say. You know, it's so easy to take on board what people say to us and then decide to act from someone else's beliefs or someone else, thoughts. And yeah, I'm fucking done with that. I'm done with that. Oh, Jazzy, hey, gorgeous. Thank you for joining. I'm already getting emotional. I'm like, oh, Jazz, just want to give you a big fucking hug. We can both be hugging and be all like warm and snuggly. Okay, so yes, I am gonna let it go. Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Like, talking about things that have affected you in your life on such a level. And it's really interesting for me, because I feel like my story is so complex and there's like so many layers that I want to share. So I feel like the best way to, you know, kind of show up in this space as, you know, a health coach, as a movement coach. I'm so much more than those things as well, obviously, but like, it's that fear of expressing your true self in the sense of what has gone on in your life and how that's going to, I don't know, relate back to business, like, you know, that imposter syndrome, which I talked about, yeah, in my last video. But I feel really called to share, you know, my story. Everyone has a story. Everyone's story will touch someone on some fucking deep level, and it's just, yeah, the stepping into that and really just owning who it is that we are, you know. So here I fucking am in my underwear, doing this fucking raw as fuck video. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep it real, because you know it's always easy to speak from your heart. Not always, but when we allow ourselves to speak from our heart, you know, that's where the magic really happens. So the topic, thank you for everyone that is jumping on. I am so grateful that you are here, and yeah, just appreciate this way of fucking communicating with, you know, people around the fucking world. Facebook, you are pretty cool at times. So topic for tonight. I'm gonna talk, I guess, a little bit more in detail about my story. I know I have jumped on here in the past and, you know, shared very openly about everything that I guess that I have gone through, but I feel like I have really gone through a incredible shift, an incredible, I guess, transformation in a sense, and it's always ongoing, but I really feel like I have a new thing that I'd like to share with everyone. And yeah, as always, appreciate all the love and all of that. So I want to talk to you tonight, guys, about, I guess, a topic and a, you know, it's a very broad thing, but I guess it covers, you know, the essence of our relationship to food and our body. So I'm going to kind of, I guess, start with yeah, I'm going to start with, I guess, for me, my journey through, you know, dieting, restrictive eating, binge eating. You know, I'm going to talk about my weight gain as well. And I'm not trying to, I don't know, like, I don't know. I'm just talking about my story. So there you go. But I really want to, yeah, I'm here to be fucking real, right? And that's what I'm gonna fucking do. So my story, I guess, in the sense of when it all started for me, in the sense of just my struggle with my relationship to food and my body, was when I started working in the fitness industry as a personal trainer. I was suddenly pushed into this, you know, environment, this industry where it's all, you know, it's very heavily focused on how we are looking, you know, our physical form, and it's very, I guess, like a linear kind of approach, right? This weight loss focus, you know. You are succeeding as a personal trainer, as, you know, yeah, a movement coach, if you're, you know, getting your client from, you know, A to B. So like, you know, weight loss. And I guess this video isn't about, you know, me saying weight loss is bad. Like, it's not that. But I guess it's me speaking about the importance of understanding that, you know, weight and like this image of health is not always deemed in the correct light. And for me, you know, starting off as a personal trainer, I struggled so hugely with my feelings of inadequacy, my feelings of, you know, not being enough, not being worthy. The biggest thing that I always would do would be comparing myself, right? Comparing myself to everyone else around me. And in doing that, you know, created these ideas. Obviously, it's a belief and a thing that I had learned through, you know, growing up. But this whole comparisonitis kind of thing, and never feeling good enough as I was. And I began to feel like my identity, I guess you could say, was wrapped up in my body. you know, my body image. And I always remember, like, when I guess kind of started getting into personal training, it was a little bit before the actual PT thing, and I had started dieting for the first time in my life, not like intentionally, but I was restricting food and I was exercising, and I lost a fuckload of weight. And I felt fucking amazing, right? Like, you know, losing weight is great. It's not a bad thing, but it's how our relationship to food and our body image, how that can really get really fucking toxic and create a lot of, you know, disordered eating patterns. So for me, I guess I always remember that you know, that power, I guess I felt of being able to change my body, and hence why I got into the personal training. But I guess it was something that I, really held on to in a huge way. So my identity was all based around my body. You know, if I wasn't, you know, just in like just the most ripped up kind of stage, you know, freaking got the abs going, got the fucking, you know, ripped arms, got the fucking tight as fuck butt, then, like, you know, no one would want to train with me, because if I didn't have this perfect image, then you know, you're nothing. Like, you know, the identity was based all around the body. And I guess the huge thing that I have learned through these episodes of binge eating, like, they have been episodes that has happened three times in my life, and it's been an episode that I've learned so much more now, is just the way that I have been incredibly restrictive and kind of controlling of my food. And that was kind of the precipice of getting into these binge eating patterns of being in a pretty much starved, you know, state of just, you know, no fucking food. So when a stressful event or something kind of happened in my life, the food was, like, you know, the go-to. Like, that was the way of how I kind of coped with my feelings, with stress, with, you know, not feeling enough. And it was an ongoing cycle. I gradually kind of, I guess, through those episodes, every time I had an episode, I was, like, again in that diet mentality. So anyone out there that has had, you know, struggles with your relationship to food and your body, this is how this pattern is created. You know, huge part of it is deprivation, the dieting, right? We become so deprived, our body is just screaming for food. Food is on, like, this fucking pedestal, because we all know when we cut something out, right? If you cut anything out of your life, especially let's look at it food wise, you're going to be thinking about it all the time, right? If I tell you, don't think of a pink elephant right now with a little cake in its hand, like, what do you think of? Fucking pink elephant with a little cake in its hand. And it's the same thing with food. And the biggest thing for me, I guess, was every time I had these episodes where I felt so fucking out of control and just, like, fucking, you know, eating all the food, I'd get to that point where I was like, okay, I'm going to get out of it. And it was literally by, like, sheer kind of, you know, force of free, like, you know, just mental strength, cutting stuff out again. And yes, you know, cutting the kind of, I guess, circuit of always thinking of food. Like, it was something that gradually took time. But every time I was in that binge mentality, I'd still be on that kind of, like, on the flip side, extremely depressed about where I was at, having, you know, gained weight, wanting to, like, you know, get back to my fit self. And yeah, I would get back onto the dieting mentality. And I guess my kind of, you know, breakthrough, which is why it's just so crazy for me, my breakthrough from becoming a health coach, you know, becoming a holistic health coach last year, that was the kind of calling from, again, another really horrific time in Sydney, where I had gotten fired. Excuse me, I'd gotten fired from a job at a gym because I'd been upfront that I was struggling with anxiety and the stress to fuck, and they were like, well, it's obviously not working here, we're going to just let you go. So they handled that situation really well, and I had this fucking such a, again, this sense of fear of failure. I was just terrified. I just went into this spiral again of just, you know, not feeling enough, this fucking failure, the stress, and then the food. The food was there to fucking nourish and help and, you know, push down. And that was probably the lowest point in my life. I had broken up with my partner, so it was like the first year by myself, and I remember just being so fucking like lost. I think lost would be a good word to describe it, but I just remember being so like angry, like so fucking angry, so like angry at myself, like the way that I had no control over food. And I was just like there's so much shame and so much just disgust with like this inability to kind of stop these food fucking cravings. And it was almost like punishment, like, you know, when we get to this point, you know, when we are suppressing our emotions with food, like it becomes such a habitual thing, right? We wire our brains to binge, which is why the brain element is such a huge component when it comes to recovering and moving through binge, you know, emotional eating. So I was in this state of just no idea what the fuck was happening. I was just like, I do not know how I can get out of this. I had put on, I don't know, like probably a little bit less than I'm carrying right now. And I was at the most like lowest point of my life. I literally just didn't want to be around anymore. Like, you know, my identity was wrapped in this, you know, this body of mine. This body was who I was, right? So if I didn't have this body, then like who the fuck was I? And yeah, I nearly took my own life, and it seems like so stupid, right? Like killing yourself over putting on weight. Like it was like the worst thing that I felt at the time. Like it was the worst thing that could happen to me, along with, you know, this whole overwhelming thing of, you know, just having failed in life and just not being enough and not being worthy and just hating my body so much. And it was like a break fucking through that time, because I had come across this holistic health coaching certification, and I was like, oh my god, like this sounds just like exactly what I need to heal myself. And I was like in the background going, you can't do that shit, you're too fucked up, girl. You are fucked with your eating, like, you know, you can't fucking do that. And I made like a fucking choice, you know, I made a choice during that time. It was felt at the time the hardest choice that I ever kind of had to, I guess, make. But I made the choice to fucking still obviously be here and fucking dive into this health coaching. And I look back at that time of, you know, really feeling like studying that course. So studying that course helped me heal in such a way, heal my relationship to food. I was working also with a fucking incredible coach at the time as well. Kirsty, I love you so much. So there was obviously a number of things, but I really felt my whole kind of way of being around food had transformed. And looking back at it now, in terms of where I am today, with everything that has happened for me last year, is I healed myself from my binge eating. However, I chose to go back into a restrictive eating cycle. And it was one of those things that, you know, I guess starting as a coach last year and wanting to, you know, obviously help people transform their lives through, you know, eating better, moving their body, you know, letting go of limiting fucking beliefs. Like, you know, that was like the biggest, the most fucking incrediblest thing last year. Like it's seriously been such a fucking ride, and I'm so grateful for the journey that it's taken me on. But funnily enough, again, this ingrained way of being that, you know, has been such a big part of me is this fear of the identity, right? I got back onto my relationship with food had changed, yes, but I've always been a very, I guess, healthy person. And it's funny, right? Like our relationship to food, if we look back to our childhood and look at how we interacted with food then, and all the kind of stories that can come up when we think of like food, like, you know, food is such an emotional thing. It has so many emotional connections to it, you know, when we're crying and, like, you know, fallen over, like, you know, mum's there to give you a glass of milk and some cookies, you know, so you've got this emotional connection with food every time you have cookies and milk kind of thing, because it's your mum, you know, your mum is nurturing you. And this is a thing, I think, when I look back to my food days, grew up in an incredibly healthy family. Like, I'm so blessed. My mum is the most fucking incredible cook, like all things health, like, you know, fucking gluten-free, vegan, just beautifully creative. Dad, fucking incredible baker, baked his whole life. But I was brought up in a family that had fuck all sugar, like literally none. I didn't go to McDonald's until I was about 10, maybe 8, actually, 8 years old. 8 years old, going to McDonald's, like that was like probably the happiest day of my life. But it was so funny because I remember literally as a kid going into the cottage, which was on the opposite side. I grew up in the country of the main house, and cooking sweets, like cooking, I used to make marshmallows and stuff, because we'd never have any kind of like sweet in the house. Like, it was like void of any sugar kind of thing. So what happens when I'm around sugar? I go to fucking town, right? Like, I go to town, and this way of being, I guess, you know, again, like, we've got so much stuff that obviously comes through with us around food and emotional eating from childhood, that I have always, like, enjoyed being healthy. Don't get me wrong, I love being healthy, but what I'm looking at now is that, you know, I have definitely been in that category of orthorexia, of being so wrapped up in my body and being so regimented with my food. And yes, we can be healthy, and yes, it's so important for people to eat, you know, more healthy, nutritious food, but it's also so fucking important for people to, you know, make peace with food and stop labeling food as good and bad. And that was kind of like my I guess my breakthrough, in a sense, last year. Like, from last year, Byron Bay I had probably the most stressful time of my life. I was incredibly overworked. I overcommitted myself like I never have before. And it's because I got some fucking passion, you know, I got some passion in what it is that I'm doing, and I want to be the best fucking version of myself, and I'm wanting to create, you know, this fucking life that I know I'm fully capable of doing. But from this place of extreme burnout, extreme fatigue, and this cycle of, I guess, restrictive eating again that I had, you know, fallen into last year, I started repeating similar patterns, and this binge overeating, emotional eating crept in again, right? And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I thought you healed this shit, you know? I thought you healed this, like, back in fucking last fucking year. Like, how is this coming up again? And it's been like the biggest fucking, I guess, breakthrough for me, going through another really serious episode with food, and coming out of it as well, being on the other side. You know, this hasn't been something that, you know, I've been by myself. I'm coach here. I've worked with a fucking incredible NLP practitioner coach over the last few months as well. I was seeing someone in Nelson, like, you know, like, we all need support in our lives, period. And it's so important for us to feel like we can fucking go there and reach it, and there's nothing wrong with that. And for me, you know, I think I was lying to myself in so many ways last year. Not necessarily lying, but ignoring the signs. And I didn't have my period last year for 9 months, like no period. And I know it was a numerous amount of things. I know it was really, really restrictive eating. I know it was over exercising, got onto that, you know, that fucking woo bubble of feeling fucking amazing. And, you know, when you feel good, you just keep on feeling good and it's great. But then you get into a burnout kind of stage. So for me, this whole period thing was just something I just didn't really think about. Stress definitely affected, you know, my hormones, adrenals, you know, everything has really been given a real big fucking hit. But the biggest thing that I guess I have now, like, really kind of come into is, one, actually giving myself permission to fucking eat, and really honoring my body, right? Honoring and respecting my fucking body, because we give our bodies so much fucking grief, and we talk badly to them, and it's been such a fucking empowering place to be in, like, for the first time in my life, where I'm not I'm not in this state where I want to change my body. Like, I'm not dieting, you know, even though I have put on weight. Yes, I've put on weight. Like, I know it's like, you know, oh, you haven't really put on that much weight, whatever. Like, it's always relative, right? And again, this isn't promoting, like, you know, weight gain. This is promoting that health is at every size, right? Health isn't just because you look fucking skinny or you look fit and toned, you know, that's a picture of health. Look at, you know, me last year, extremely restrictive, fucking no period, struggling with relationship to food because I was incredibly, you know, dieting and restricting. And that has been probably the most incredible thing now, is being in a body that yes, is bigger, but feeling so much more fucking alive in myself, feeling fucking confident in my body as it is now, having a fucking period, right? Having that hormonal balance within my body. Like I hadn't had a period for I don't know, a proper period for like 15 years, had been on an IUD for like the last 10 and finally got that removed. And there's so much, I guess, positivity in the social media kind of space now, right, about our bodies and how important it is to just love our bodies, right, and accept our bodies, right, accept our fucking bodies. And I think a lot of the time people are fucking terrified, right, with the idea of, oh my God, if I accept my body, then I'm just going to eat whatever the fuck I want and not exercise and be a fat cunt. Like, excuse the language, but that's not what body acceptance is about. And where I am like, really tapping back into that intuition of my body and making peace with food in the sense of not cutting out anything, not cutting out anything, listening to what my body needs. And I think a big part of this is like, nutrition and food is kind of like, it's everywhere wherever we look, and it can be so fucking complicated, but it doesn't have to be. And I think if we start changing just our mindset around food in the sense of not using food as a weapon, but like as a tool, and especially around nutrition, I think it's going to be something that I am going to be fucking talking about, in the sense of just this intuitive eating, making peace with your fucking body, making peace with food. I feel like the amount of, I know there's people out there that have, intolerances or, need to eat a certain type of food, and this story is not for everyone, and that's totally okay. But I guess my like soul's mission is to really just help people come back to themselves, help people come back to themselves within their fucking bodies, like who the fuck they are, and tapping back into that and fucking feeling that, right? Because the worthiness piece, the feeling enough, like that is your fucking birthright, and you are so fucking deserving of having all of that. And to feel like, for the first time that my body is not my worth, like, fuck. It's taken a fucking long time, but it is so fucking worth it. It is so worth it. And this is not about giving up all elements of health, right? It is about honoring our fucking bodies, and listening to our bodies, allowing ourselves to sit and feel through our emotions and be able to really tap into what our body's true needs are, right? Getting more awareness around that, intuitive like feeling of what our bodies actually feel like when they're hungry, what it actually feels like when they're full, honoring that, not labeling fucking foods as good and bad. It's just fucking food, it's just food, and you can eat whatever the fuck you want, and again, like, this isn't, sure, go crazy and eat whatever the fuck you want. I'm not preaching that. I'm preaching intuitive eating. It's about listening to what your body really feels like. And yes, there's always going to be like I guess I like to call it like a gentle nutrition, like, basic nutrition, because we know how good it feels when we eat good food, yes. But when you actually allow yourself to fucking, eat the cake or eat the ice cream or eat the cookie and not fucking freak out that you're going to smash the whole gallon of ice cream and the whole fucking cookie bag, because you're like, sweet, I'm going to eat what I want, and oh, I'm full now, sweet, I can, like, you know, move that away. And that is like, for someone that has, I guess, you know, been on this emotional binge eating journey, having that fucking space of being completely just in touch with that intuition of knowing what my body needs and feels like, and letting go of the shame and guilt is just fucking, it's fucking amazing. It's so amazing. I am really going for it tonight. I'm sorry, I haven't even been looking the wee little comments. Michelle, hey beautiful. Amanda, Alice, and thank you, Govind, what is up, bro? Ben Hobbs, yo. Hani, yo. Callum, yo. Anna, yo. Yeah, so that is kind of, I guess I'm gonna, yeah, finish on that note. But like, body confidence, our bodies, like, period. I think there is so much for us all to really learn about how fucking amazing our bodies are. And a huge thing that we all do is, like, especially when it comes to bodies, right, is just compare our bodies to other people, or feel like we need to change our bodies, because this is where this conditioning, this society conditioning, comes from, of not being enough, right? Because we're all, it's everywhere, where we're geared to feel like we're not enough, and we need to change some part of us to feel worthy and feel enough by fucking going on a diet and fucking, you know, smashing ourselves in the gym. And it's so much more than that. It's about really recognizing and seeing how the diet culture is completely fucking up everything, really, in my eyes. It's a $60 billion industry, and it's creating this unhealthy relationship with food, this, you know, ability to feel like we can't make peace with food and can't love our bodies for how they fucking, you know, how they fucking are. And yes, exercise is something we all need to do more of, but it's exercising in a way that feels fucking good for you, that feels good for your body. We all have different, you know, different goals and different things that we want to work on. But I think when we're doing exercise from a place of punishing ourselves, from overeating or feeling like we overate all over the weekend, and like Monday, right, I got to get back into it, and because I've been so bad kind of thing, this is where exercise becomes unfun, because it feels like a fucking punishment, right? But if we're doing exercise just to feel good and not be like, oh yeah, sweet, you know, I've burnt 500 calories, like, we're getting out of that diet mentality and really coming from a place of fucking love and respect and just honoring what our body needs, right? Like, we are human beings and we are born to move. And I've got to really stiff back from sitting here. So I feel like I'm gonna wrap it up, folks. You'll be seeing me a lot more coming on board, and yeah, fucking spewing intuitive eating and body positivity and all of the goods. Yeah, I think, like, I want to just finish with yeah, just, you know, you are so much worth, you're so much more than just your body, you know, who you are at a fucking soul level. And yes, like, my identity had been based around all about my body. And even last year as a health coach, I was like, I've got to be this fucking perfect, you know, health coach who has no issues with anything. And yes, it's fucking terrifying showing up in the space and being open and honest about all of this, but it's so important to realize the amount of shit and crap that goes on in our mind on a daily basis, especially around, you know, our beliefs and our fucking, just our beliefs, period. You know, like, that is such a big key of I guess it's the heart of what it is that I do, you know, just allowing people to clear those fucking limiting beliefs around themselves, right? Those feelings of not being enough, of not feeling worthy, of not feeling like they can fucking express themselves as they are, because everything's fucking based around how they're feeling in their body and their relationship to food. So just know that you are so fucking worthy, you know, as you are now, and you are so enough. Like, you know, you are born enough. You know, you are born from fucking love. You are fucking love. And our body is our fucking temple, right? Our body is our temple, and it is so important, I think, for us to really just make peace with our fucking bodies. Because we are in them our whole fucking lives, right? And that goes with the whole head stuff as well, like feeling capable and feeling like we can express ourselves as who we fucking are. Sage sticks and that stuff. Don't know what that was. I think it was a bit of peace from doTERRA. So, calories are a mindfuck. Here, Michelle. Fuck off calories. So, peace out. Thank you those that are still on here. I love you. I am thankful for you. Your body is not your worth. Move your body from a place that feels fucking good. Do it every day. Movement is fucking the key. It's necessary. And listen to your body, honor your body. Try and just ask yourself, you know, how can you nurture, how can you nourish your body, how can you listen to your hunger signs? Like, if you're fucking hungry, eat. If you're hungry, eat. Like, get off the diet mentality. I'm going to do a video around just like the steps around intuitive eating and how you need to break through this diet mentality, and it's a huge part. So give yourself the food, honor your body, honor your fucking hunger, honor your fullness, and let go of that shame and guilt, because it does no fucking thing in your life. So that is me signing out. So much love to you all. Thanks for tuning in. Alice, you're so welcome. I miss your fucking face. Movement is key. Not for a skinny body, but a healthy mind. Fucking booyah. Yes, love it. All right. Thank you guys for joining. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to Jay Dallas on a Wednesday night, PM, getting high on doTERRA oils. And sage sticks, clearing that energy field. So peace, fellas. Mwah.